Hello, everyone. Thank you for visiting and watching our story. If you enjoy stories about friendship, loyalty, and thrilling adventures, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of our videos. Follow the emotional journey of Anna and Max in each story. We truly appreciate your support and feedback. Anna Kim stood amidst the flashing lights of Newbridge International Airport, where she had worked for the past 5 years. She was a K-9 officer specializing in cases related to smuggling drugs and dangerous criminals. However, for Anna, this job was not just a task, it was a mission. And her partner Max was an irreplaceable part of every decision and victory. Max was not just a working dog. Anna and Max had been through many challenges and dangers, and their bond had become an inseparable sacred connection. Max, a Belgian Malinois, was one of the best canines Anna had ever known. With his sleek brown fur, sharp eyes, and exceptional agility, Max was not only a companion but also a loyal protector, always ready to sacrifice for Anna's safety. Whenever Max sensed danger, Anna trusted his instincts. They shared a special connection, a mutual understanding that only the closest friends, even the most enduring, could share. They had worked together on hundreds of cases, from inspecting cargo at security zones to dangerous chases, where only precision and mutual trust could save them both. For Anna, Max was not just a teammate, Max was family, the only friend who stood by her when everything became tough. The one friend she could share every emotion with without speaking a word. But today, Anna was lying in the ICU of Barker General Hospital, where everything had changed suddenly and painfully. Anna couldn't remember the exact moment before she was attacked. She only remembered one thing: when an emergency flight landed at Newbridge International Airport. She and Max were called to inspect suspicious shipments. Warnings rang in her mind, the feeling Max had brought. They had tracked a group of suspects involved in smuggling toxic pharmaceuticals. They didn't expect these criminals to not only smuggle goods, but also be willing to use violence to stop their capture. In just a moment, when everything happened too fast, a criminal suddenly drew a gun and fired a shot that hit Anna's shoulder. The pain spread throughout her body, but what worried her most was Max, her loyal companion, who was still fighting the others. Max had saved her from the criminals, but the price was too high. Anna collapsed, bleeding uncontrollably, and her vision blurred. While she fainted, Max growled and worried, but he could do nothing except keep his spirit strong and protect her until medical staff arrived. The police brought her to the hospital, but her condition was critical. The world seemed to stop while Max, the wonderful K-9, stood outside the ICU room, unable to move, unable to do anything except wait. Max couldn't leave. Although the doctors had instructed him to stay calm, Max stood at the door of the room, his bright eyes following every movement inside. The dog couldn't fully understand what was happening, but Max knew his close friend Anna was in danger. He felt her pain, and it was like a wound in his heart. It wasn't the first time Max had witnessed his partner get hurt, but this time the pain was different. Max felt a loss, as if part of him was also wounded. Although he couldn't express it in words, Max knew the situation was dire. But he wouldn't give up. Anna needed him, and Max would always stay by her side. The dog couldn't stop sighing. These sighs were like silent prayers, hoping that Anna would wake up and continue her life. But in Max's heart, he couldn't stop fearing. Would Anna wake up? Would she survive this danger? Max had protected Anna through many dangerous situations, but this time he felt uncertain. Over the past 5 years, Max had never felt so helpless. They had overcome all challenges together, but now in this dark hospital, Max could only stand outside, unable to do more than wait. Time passed, and Anna remained motionless in her hospital bed. Max never took his eyes off the ICU door. His ears perked up when he heard the footsteps of the doctors and nurses outside. Even the smallest noise, Max listened intently, hoping something would change. An hour later, a young doctor, Dr. Emily Lynn, entered the room. She was an intern, but there was one thing that made Max feel reassured. She was the only one who had noticed Max's unusual behavior. While everyone else thought the dog was just anxious due to Anna's absence, Emily saw something wasn't right. Max looked at her, his deep eyes seemingly pleading for help. Emily didn't know much about canine work, but she understood that dogs like Max didn't just act instinctively. They could sense things that humans couldn't. "This dog is different," Emily whispered. "He knows something we don't." She decided to investigate further about Max, and somehow she uncovered the truth. Even though Max couldn't speak, he had warned them about something hidden in the hospital. A criminal was still lurking, and Anna could still be in danger that night. Like every other at Newbridge International Airport, the atmosphere was tense and full of challenges. As a K-9 officer, Anna Kim was used to inspect suspicious shipments. But tonight something was different. Max, her sharp and alert Belgian Malinois, seemed uneasy, suddenly sniffed the air and caught a strange smell. Not the usual scent of tobacco or food, but something chemical, heavy and dangerous, Max. Anna whispered, "Did you detect something again?" Max looked at her with eyes full of worry. His sharp nose had detected something that Anna couldn't have seen with her own eyes. Anna carefully followed the trail that Max led her on, crossing security check counters and moving through the long corridors of the airport. She had worked with Max for so long that she could understand the signals he was giving. He wasn't simply detecting a small threat. It was a sign of a larger conspiracy, a looming danger that could change everything. They passed through several restricted areas as security personnel continued their work. Max kept sniffing his ears, perked up, and his body tensed, as though he was warning of something about to happen. After a while, Anna and Max found a spot with traces of chemicals hidden beneath the covering of some large crates. They weren't ordinary goods. These were pharmaceuticals containing banned substances, things Anna had never encountered before. A cold chill ran through Anna's heart. She had discovered a pharmaceutical smuggling operation. But what worried her more was the suspicion that this was only the tip of the iceberg. She contacted the airport security department, requesting them to seal off the area and await the special forces' support. But when Anna returned to continue the investigation, she didn't anticipate the sudden attack from the criminals. Suddenly, a group of people in black clothing rushed in and attacked Anna as she was inspecting the cargo. Max, with his strong protective instincts, immediately jumped into action to help, but right in the middle of the confrontation, one of the criminals quickly pulled out a gun and shot Anna in the shoulder. Blood started flowing, and in the agony, Anna could no longer hold on. Max growled, trying to stop the attackers, but everything was happening too quickly. Anna fell, and the world around her began to fade. Max fought until the very last moment, but he couldn't save Anna from the ruthless criminals. When medical staff arrived, they could only rush Anna to the hospital in critical condition, while Max, the loyal dog, was forbidden from following Barker. General Hospital became the witness to a battle between life and death. Anna was brought into the ICU, where she lay in a deep coma. The doctor said her condition was very serious, and she might not survive without immediate intervention. But outside the hospital room, Max couldn't stop worrying. Despite the medical staff's instructions to keep him calm, Max couldn't leave her side. The dog silently stood guard, his eyes never leaving the ICU door where Anna lay. He could sense a change in the air, a strange scent that only Max could detect, the same chemical smell he had encountered at the airport. At that moment, a man dressed as a doctor, William Yesek, entered Anna's room. Max immediately sniffed the chemical odor from this man, and unlike before, the smell was even stronger. Now Max stood up, his ears perked, and his eyes became alert. Anna was still in a coma, unable to perceive anything, but Max knew that something was wrong. Max, a nurse, said, "You need to calm down. This is just her treating physician." But Max wouldn't listen. The dog growled uneasily, moving closer to the hospital room door, trying to approach. Max knew there was something dangerous lurking around this doctor. If no one pays attention, Anna will be in danger. Yesek continued to examine Anna's condition. But each time he entered the room, Anna's vital signs dropped. Something about his actions made Max even more certain of his feelings. He wasn't a real doctor, and the chemical smell was just part of the conspiracy he was carrying out. When Max sensed this abnormality, the dog couldn't stay still any longer. He started pacing around the hallway, his eyes never leaving Dr. Hitchcock, while the medical staff couldn't understand Max's actions. Dr. Emily Lynn, a young and keen doctor, noticed the unusual behavior of Max. Dr. Lynn knew that Max wasn't an ordinary dog. She had worked with many canine dogs before, but this time, Max's strange instincts couldn't be ignored. She decided to follow Dr. Huschek's actions. After entering the room a few more times, Anna's vitals dropped again for no reason, so she decided to report it to her superiors. "What's going on?" Dr. Lynn said. "She can't drop her blood pressure like this without a reason." "There's definitely something wrong," another doctor replied. "We'll need to check again." Max, unable to speak, kept acting. His instincts were making Dr. Lynn suspicious. She decided to investigate the doctors working at the hospital. When Dr. Yasek entered again, Max could take no more. The dog rushed toward the doctor, growling threateningly. That moment, Dr. Lynn stepped forward and asked for him to stop. She turned to Max and asked, "Do you know something? Is it the smell from this doctor that's making you uneasy?" Max paused, staring at Dr. Lynn with eyes full of suspicion. She wasn't a cop, but she could feel the difference. With Max's help, Dr. Lynn decided to investigate further. After reviewing the records and interviewing the doctors, Dr. Lin discovered that Dr. William Jasek was not Anna's doctor at all. He was a criminal posing as a doctor, and his goal was not just to kill Anna, but to stop her from uncovering what she and Max had discovered at the airport. Max couldn't stand still any longer. The strange chemical smell from Dr. Jasek haunted this canine. He had noticed the oddity the first time he met him, but now everything was clear. Max's bright eyes locked onto Dr. Jasek as if to say, "I know who you are." The clues Max had found his body, reactions, and his protective instincts had not been wrong. Max could feel danger coming, and he couldn't stand by waiting for help. At this moment, Anna was in a deep coma, unable to protect herself. Her condition was still critical, and without timely intervention, everything could end. But Max would not let that happen. This tough, strong, and loyal dog knew that he had to act. When Dr. Jasek entered Anna's room once again, Max no longer sat quietly in the corner. He stood up, his legs stiff as steel, his eyes full of determination. Dr. Jasek had no idea that in just a few steps, he would face the strongest resistance he had ever encountered. As soon as Dr. Jasek approached Anna's bed, Max sprang forward with lightning speed, growling threateningly. He would not allow the criminal to approach his companion, no matter who he was, even if he were a doctor. Dr. Jasek quickly retreated, hastily turning and running, not expecting to be chased by a courageous canine. Max did not relent. He chased after him, not giving up, catching up with the fake doctor in the long hospital corridors. The sound of footsteps echoed in the silence of the late night, but Max had only one goal: to protect Anna. He lunged at him, not allowing the criminal a moment to breathe. Dr. Jasek panted, a sense of fear spreading throughout his body. This was not what he had predicted when he decided to impersonate a doctor and come to this hospital. He thought everything would be easy, that Anna would not be able to stop him. But now he realized he had misjudged his opponent. Max was not just an intelligent working dog. He was Anna's loyal friend, the one who would fight until his last breath to protect her. And that was exactly what was happening right now. Jasek turned around and saw Max charging toward him with eyes full of resolve. The faster he ran, the more Max chased him relentlessly, not letting him escape, running through the corridors and through doors. Max never slowed down, his legs slicing through the air like sharp blades. Finally, Max forced him to stop when the doctor stumbled into a storage cabinet. He fell flat on the ground, but immediately Max lunged at him, biting down on his hand, preventing Dr. Jasek from continuing his actions. But the truth didn't end there. As Max attacked the fake doctor, a team of hospital security personnel appeared just in time, quickly subduing him. Despite the doctor's efforts to struggle, he could not resist Max's strength and the security team's help. The police arrived promptly at the scene, and through a quick investigation, they discovered Dr. Jasek's true identity. He was not the doctor he claimed to be, but a criminal involved in a biological weapons smuggling network, a conspiracy that he had infiltrated the hospital to continue executing. His steps had been carefully planned from the start, with Anna being his ultimate target. In an instant, the fake doctor was arrested, and the truth about his conspiracy was exposed. But what no one knew was that he was not just a fake doctor. He was part of a larger criminal organization, one that had infiltrated medical facilities and international organizations to carry out biological weapon plots. Everything seemed to be spiraling out of control. Max not only uncovered the fake doctor, but as he continued to search the area around Anna's room, he found another clue. Max kept inspecting the corners of the room, and when he reached the refrigerator in Anna's room where the doctors typically kept medicines and medical supplies, he sniffed out a strong chemical odor, one that Max had recognized at the airport earlier. Max stood still, his ears perked up, and he began to growl. A clear sign the dog had found something unusual. Emily Lynn, hearing Max's growl, immediately stepped over and looked at the refrigerator. She had no more doubts. She opened the fridge and discovered a package of dangerous chemicals hidden under layers of food packaging. "What is this, Dr. Lin?" asked, her hand trembling as she held the package. She immediately called the security team and medical staff. This was not an ordinary medicine. This was a chemical that could cause severe harm if misused. It could become a biological weapon, a plan to create a deadly epidemic. She immediately reported to the police, and investigation teams quickly arrived to gather evidence. They realized this was not just an assassination attempt on Anna. This was part of a larger conspiracy involving an organization trying to use medical facilities to spread biological weapons. Dr. Emily Lin, though very young, had proven herself to be intelligent and decisive. After discovering the dangerous chemicals in the refrigerator, she immediately coordinated with the police to stop this plot. She provided all the information she had, and investigations began to extend beyond the hospital. When Anna woke up still weak, she realized that everything she and Max had done during the pursuit hadn't been in vain. Max still stood by her, his canine eyes never leaving her, as if confirming that her loyal companion would always be there ready to protect her, no matter what dangers they faced. Thanks to the coordination between Dr. Lynn, Anna, and Max, the authorities were able to dismantle the biological weapons smuggling network quickly. The remaining criminals in the organization were arrested, and the plan to spread the deadly epidemic was thwarted. The light from the hospital lamp shone down, and the air in the police office was thick and tense. Reports were handed over, and security personnel discussed every detail of the plot they had just foiled. Dr. Hatsek and his accomplices could no longer hide behind their deceptive masks. The criminals were arrested, all the evidence was collected, and the story behind the biological weapons and pharmaceutical smuggling plot was now clear. But the story didn't end there. One of the key figures in exposing this conspiracy was Anna Kim, a resilient canine officer who had faced danger and endured pain just to protect justice and her loved ones. Anna was not just someone fighting for the safety of society. She was a beacon of courage and dedication in her work. Throughout her years fighting crime, she had never given up, even when the cost was high. Today, Anna was honored by the government and the police force. A simple yet solemn ceremony was held at the Newbridge Police Headquarters. In the presence of her colleagues and family, Anna was awarded the Medal of Valor for her significant contributions to protecting society, particularly in dismantling the biological weapons smuggling conspiracy. The praise and the sincere handshakes from colleagues and superiors warmed Anna's heart. She knew that all the pain and sacrifices had been worth it. But it wasn't just Anna. Max, her loyal companion, was also given a well-deserved award. The Belgian Malinois, who had tirelessly fought for Anna's safety, was awarded the Loyalty Medal, a special honor for canines with outstanding performance in safeguarding security. Max, although unable to speak, expressed his joy through his bright eyes and the wag of his tail. He had fought relentlessly, sacrificing without pause just to protect his closest friend. The ceremony ended, but Anna and Max's hearts were full of pride. They had won not just by facing the enemy, but by confronting their own fears. Despite having gone through so much hardship and challenge, Anna and Max knew they couldn't stop. Their work was never easy, and the bad guys were always finding ways to hide and plot. The Newbridge police force may have defeated one of the most dangerous criminal schemes, but they knew the fight was far from over. Anna stood beside Max, both looking out over Newbridge Airport, once again the place where every mission began and ended. They had returned to their daily work, inspecting baggage, scanning suspicious areas, and ensuring no danger threatened the safety of passengers and staff. However, even though their work continued, both Anna and Max understood that a hidden force still existed, and they would have to face it again. Anna turned to look at Max, the K9, who had completed his mission of protecting her. But now in Max's eyes, she saw worry. Max was never a dog easily defeated. After all they had been through, he still remained determined to protect Anna. And Anna knew that with Max by her side, she would never give up, no matter how difficult the challenges are. They always face them together and defend justice. Looking into Max's eyes, Anna smiled, a soft smile, but one full of pride. "We can't let the bad guys win," she said, her voice full of resolve. "We'll keep doing what needs to be done for the innocent people. And because we're a team, Max, we'll always fight together." Max wagged his tail as if he understood her. Whereas there was no need for further words, because in Max's gaze and every wag of his tail, he was ready for the next fight. The next day, Anna and Max returned to their work at the airport. All the dangerous traces they had uncovered earlier had been cleared, but they knew that a new battle was beginning. Authorities were expanding their investigation into the criminals involved in the biological weapons conspiracy, and some accomplices had yet to be caught. Other plots were still waiting to be executed, and the criminals could still exploit weaknesses in the system. Unexpectedly, while inspecting luggage at a security area, Max started to show familiar signs. The canine's ears perked up, and his nose began to sniff a strange scent. Both Anna and Max recognized that this could be a warning sign. Max and Anna knew that even though the previous conspiracy had been foiled, another danger was lurking ahead. A police team could protect the airport, but they couldn't let their guard down. The bad guys wouldn't give up easily. Everything had only just begun. In Anna's heart, she knew that she and Max would continue fighting, because they were not just a police officer and K9, they were a team, a family, and to them nothing was impossible to overcome. The final scene is when Anna and Max walk out looking toward the horizon. Though challenges awaited them, Anna believed that with Max by her side, they would never give up. The battle was not over, and both knew they would always be the warriors fighting for justice. Anna and Max continued to patrol the airport where life and hustle never ceased. Yet in their hearts, everything was no longer the same. The tension always lingered like a dark cloud hanging overhead, even though they had won a major victory. Max continued with his job, inspecting luggage and sniffing out strange items. He never stopped being vigilant, even after breaking up a major conspiracy. One day, while checking a large bag in the luggage inspection area, Max began to show familiar signs. His ears perked up, and he slowly turned his head, silently watching the bag that Anna was about to open. Something didn't feel right. The unease in Max's heart was like a bad omen. Anna noticed the change in Max's behavior and immediately stopped sensing the tension in the air. "Is something wrong, Max?" Anna asked, trying to stay calm, though a hint of worry was creeping into her heart. Max wagged his tail but kept his eyes fixed on the bag, as if waiting for confirmation. Anna carefully opened the bag, a cold shiver running down her spine when she discovered a strange object wrapped tightly in fabric. A faint chemical odor wafted up just like before. Anna quickly notified the airport security team and requested an immediate inspection. "It seems we can't afford to overlook anything for a minute," Anna thought to herself. Every time she thought the danger had passed, something new would emerge. The airport security team quickly examined the bag and discovered a chemical substance that no one had encountered before. Its chemical structure was complex and not fully studied. Anna and Max were once again facing a new biological threat, a substance that could damage public health or even become a weapon. Max, with his keen senses, continued to scan the area around them, trying to detect any other signs. He stopped at another suitcase and stared at it with concern. Without needing further explanation, Max had found another dangerous clue. The entire security team and police were immediately mobilized to investigate further. They discovered that this could be part of a larger conspiracy, a criminal organization involved in transporting dangerous chemicals through major airports worldwide. These criminals weren't just smuggling biological weapons. They were also attempting to involve medical facilities and hospitals in their plans. Realizing the situation was escalating, Anna decided immediate action was necessary. She and Max began coordinating with the authorities to track exposé and prevent any further threats before they could spread. But this time, the enemy was not just a few isolated criminals. It was a global organization with resources and power far beyond what they had imagined. Things were taking a very dangerous turn. While Anna and Max continued their investigation, they discovered an important lead in their organization's base, a location only accessible to those within the organization. An old warehouse on the outskirts of the city could potentially hold all the evidence of the biological weapons and hazardous chemicals. Smuggling plot, Anna decided to proceed with Max and a special task force. They were prepared to face whatever might happen. Max, still her loyal companion, stood by her side, ready to fight to the end, to protect her just as he had for the past 5 years. The team entered the suspected area, and as expected, they faced resistance from the criminals and an incredibly tight security system. Gunshots and Max's growls echoed through the dark and quiet space. With every cautious step, they got closer to the warehouse. But before they could open the door, a figure suddenly appeared from the darkness. Dr. William Jacek. "Did you think you could stop us?" Jacek growled, his face full of rage. "This is just the beginning. You'll never break our network." With that declaration, the remaining criminals emerged from the shadows surrounding Anna's team. The tense standoff began. Max, with his agility and sharp instincts, leapt into action, attacking the criminals, not giving them a chance to retaliate. But while Max was tirelessly fighting to protect Anna, in the special task force uncovered the full extent of the organization's plot. They gathered crucial evidence, arrested the masterminds, and once again thwarted the conspiracy. However, as a reminder that the war was far from over, as they were moving through the rooms to collect more evidence, Anna sensed a shift in the air. A remaining criminal had drawn a gun and aimed at her. Max immediately lunged forward without hesitation, saving Anna once again. After that tense confrontation, things started to stabilize. The criminals were arrested and the biological weapons smuggling plot was completely exposed. Anna and Max were honored for their enormous contributions to national security, receiving prestigious medals for their courage and unwavering loyalty. But they knew the battle wasn't over. Enemies still lurked in the shadows, and no one could predict when they would strike again. Anna stood by, Max looking toward the horizon where the lights of the airport still gleamed brightly, a reminder of the mission that never ends. They had endured so much, but their friendship remained strong. They would continue to protect the innocent, fight against the bad guys, and continue walking the path of warriors who defend justice. The battle was far from over, and for Anna and Max, they were ready for any new challenge.